I did it. What's good, you guys? What's fucking good? Give me 10 seconds. I needed to do something. Oh, tip goal. I wanted to change the tip goal. End goal. To go get to EDC fund. Goal amount. Oh, we'll do 100. Starting amount 0. 1, 2, DC 05, 05, no, 05. It doesn't matter, you guys don't see all that shit anyways. Start goal. EDC fund. Metal. Hold on, let me do it again. Visual settings. Bar color. Bar color would do black or green, but we'll make the background color. Let's do like fucking purple, bro. Can I make the purple work? Let's see if I do that. And the text color has got to be white, right? Bar text color. What is the text color? Yeah, that works, right? Done. Oh, I didn't do that right. Hold on. My bad. Doot, 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 doot. Let's do 0525 2025. There we go. Visual settings, purple, pink. The bar color is wait, I don't know what the difference is. So let's do like a neon. Back bar color we'll do like blue. Or wait, do we want like a purplish? Yeah, that works. We'll go back to goal and we'll start the goal. I hate that. Hold on. So now we know it's the back bar color that needs to be a different color. Hold on. And a little bit more pinky. There we go. So let's go back to goal and start the goal. What you're saving Israel? You want to talk about it? Hold on. Why is saving Israel or saving to go to Israel? Because I've been to Israel. Israel is fucking beast. Alright, I think I got it. Done. We're done. Alright. Then I'll play on my Switch. What? Bro, what does that even mean, bro? Okay, so a few things because I'm kind of all over the place, not gonna lie. You know what I should do while I stream though is do my candy, and I didn't bring any of it over here at all. So I might start it and then we'll talk about it. Feel me? Or I might start, what am I trying to say here? So after, me and Ember are saving. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, Kel. I'm going on his stream in 20 minutes. Oh, play Fortnite. Bro, you fucking said it way backwards. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm following kind of. Well, I didn't know. Okay, I'm streaming until 6. And then 6, I have to go watch another stream. I don't have to. I'm going to because I work for that Discord. But either way, just let me know, because I'm probably gonna stream for at least like 2 hours. So if you can wait till after I stream, that'd be great. Because if I would have known, I would have streamed first and then done Fortnite. Either way, just let me know. Hi, Holy Cloud Fuckers. Hi, Keldoge. Hi. Okay. Try to let as many people know I'm streaming, but I suck. So okay, I'm a regard. You can be a regard. It's okay. We're good with it. So a few things. We'll start here because this is funny. Oh, cool. It didn't pull up my messages this time. That's fucking great. So Toby Turner said he's in Minecraft. So let's see what this is.
You are looking at a guy who just got referenced in the Minecraft movie. Oh man, I was watching it. Bunch of people, totally packed, and all of a sudden, Jack Black goes. He goes. All right, ready? Hold on. He goes, hold on, let me get the light on my face. He goes, son of a biscuit, do you like my sword? Something like that. I just blacked out. As soon as I heard Son of a Biscuit, I was like, ah! And everyone in the audience was like, the Reverend Tobuscus. I'm like, bro, that's me. Oh, man. It's actually a great movie. I love it. I blacked out, like I said, so I didn't watch most of it, but whew, that is a good part. Minecraft, subscribe.
Bro, what?
You are...
Minecraft, subscribe. Okay, hold on. I forgot to add Minecraft to my title. Because I am curious, okay? Because, okay, a couple things. One, apparently I follow Moist Critical on Instagram. We're gonna Insta this. But I don't know, I thought that was funny. Because, like, I don't know if that is a Tobuscus thing, because I don't know all that much. I tried to get Tobuscus on Salvo's stream once. I was so close. I wasn't on the right wavelength of convincing a person to do that. Holy biscuits. Hold on, what am I trying to find right now? Okay, Moist Critical. Is it? Bro, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it this way. Nope, not that. We're gonna do search. We're gonna do it this way. I've got to work backwards. Damn, he posts a lot. Okay. Dude, I had everything ready and I don't. It's the worst part. Okay. So let's go to liked. No, he didn't even post Charlie in here. Oh my god. Where is he? He didn't even tag. What's happening right now? Why is this happening? And I can't, there's just no one here. Oh my god, this is obnoxious. Charlie Moist Critical Instagram. Graham. Can't type Graham. Okay, I still spelled it wrong. Okay. Here we go. Jesus Christ. Because it's under the stupidest name.
30 on Minecraft Movie Day, a sacred holiday, and I am the only one in this theater. I'm not exaggerating. There's 0 people here except for me. I could start yelling and screaming, I could start doing, and there's nobody here to hear it or see it.
You know, the fire went out on our marriage.
This is crazy. Movie sucks, by the way.
It out for the dog.
Just started it, but I'm not liking it.
Okay, let's get you to your first class.
Unbelievable. I feel ashamed and alone.
I teach to have.
Bro, probably because he went and saw it in the middle of the
The Minecraft movie came out today, and for the first time in a very, very long time, I was the only person in a theater for this screening. I was the only poor soul subjecting themselves to the torture of the Minecraft movie on debut here. I cannot remember the last time this happened where there was nobody else in a theater with me. Like, last year I saw something called Bagman, which I guarantee none of you watching this have ever even heard of. It was this complete throwaway, probably AI-generated horror movie that I went and saw on debut, and there was still like at least 15 people there.
It's fucking 5:30.
Oh, bro, he put it in his own. No way he put it in his own video. Okay. Alright. Okay, buddy. Okay.
My god. And the movie's not good, by the way. However, this movie doesn't feel like it's some lifeless husk put together by suits that are unfamiliar with the property they're adapting, like with the Halo TV series. It really does feel like everyone that worked on this film is very familiar not only with Minecraft, but the Minecraft community. There's a lot of references, there's imagery, and there's Easter eggs for things that the Minecraft community will absolutely recognize and really appreciate, which I think is a very cool thing. But unfortunately, the movie itself just doesn't do much in general. It really reminds me of what video game movies used to be back in like the early 2000s, before they figured out that they can make video game movies good. I understand it's a movie for children. That doesn't mean that it has to suck. Like, it doesn't have to be terrible. And I understand I'm not like the biggest Minecraft gamer either. I'm very familiar with the game, I've played it a lot, but it's not my favorite game by any means. But still, I would expect to go into this movie and at least be entertained and understand that it's just supposed to be lighthearted, silly, and fun. It's just not fun. Like, I was so bored, I fell asleep twice. Not for a long...
Ain't no way.
Long period of time, I just kind of dozed off twice. A good chunk of the film feels like it's kind of just a tour of Minecraft, but on the big screen. It's clear they understand the game. It's clear that they've played Minecraft, because they spend a lot of time just explaining game mechanics in this movie. And then just saying things from the game. Chicken jockey! All that memes and shit. It's not as egregious throughout the whole film, but there are a lot of instances of that. Like, I really just don't see what all there is to love about this film. Even if you're 7 years old, still drinking warm milk out of a sippy cup, or the biggest die-hard Minecraft fan, I just think there's so little to like here, because most of the film really feels like it's more of just a demonstration of what Minecraft looks like on the big screen, and not much else. Like, I guess it's great for people that just want to point at the screen and be like, oh, I recognize that. That's a villager. I've played the game. Redstone, I know how it works. Like, because that's kind of what the film does. It just takes you from one of those to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, on and on and on, of just being like, you recognize this from the game, don't you? It's in the movie. And this is from the game, and it's in the movie. Like, there's barely even a story here. It's like the simplest, weakest story they could cobble together as just a vessel to push you to Jack Black explaining Minecraft mechanics over and over again. And all the characters in the movie don't really have any depth or anything. They're just like the flattest characters you could possibly put in here. They're just learning about playing Minecraft and not much else. Like, there's no real tension, there's no real stakes. At no point I can't imagine anyone would feel invested in what's happening. And I know I've reached unk status where maybe I just don't understand the appeal, but the movie tries so hard to be memeable, even outside of like the Flint and Steel type shit. There's like 5 musical numbers, I don't know, maybe like 4, where Jack Black has like 4 different songs, all of which feel like they're aimed to try and get, you know, the kids up and out of their seat dancing.
Jesus Christ, that's rough. Okay, well that told me enough. Alright, I started a thing, but I'm probably just gonna watch the Kino Casino one first. There's a poll if you want to take it. And if enough of you don't want to watch the Kino Casino thing, then we'll just fucking whatever. But I have a little bit more for Michael than I do for Kino Casino. Because Kino Casino I just have in my things of things to watch on stream, which I didn't pull up before stream because I'm slow today apparently. Alright, this was August 20, wait, this is August? Oh, this is old. I don't know if I really care. Let's see. I changed my mind. If this is even on here, we might not even watch it. I already watched some of this too. Okay, so I changed my mind. We'll not even do that. We'll just watch Michael Clifford. Sorry. Michael Clifford with Joel Madden. Cool. That's what we're going to watch. Because I apparently didn't read the date on that, to be fair. So it took 1 vote. So we're going to do it. Oh my god. Clifford, and then we are gonna do Michael Clifford. Alright, we'll do this first and then I'll find the fucking video because I'm slow. Alright, we did it. Okay, enough of that. Okay. let's go. And I'm not gonna be on camera today because I look like shit and I'm wearing a tank top and I just don't want to deal with it. So you will be seeing me as graphic me today because I'm lazy and my room's a mess and I will eventually get out of this depression to be able to clean. So balancing. Okay.
On this episode, I'm talking with singer, songwriter, and the lead guitarist of the multi-platinum band 5 Seconds of Summer, Michael Clifford. His first single, Cool, off his new upcoming solo album is out today. Let's go.
That's my kind. I don't want no bad times. I don't want to have bad.
I don't know where to start because we've known each other for so long.
I know. But, you know, it's been a minute since we've caught up.
Yeah.
So.
When I met you, you had to be 15?
Yeah. Some 16, 17.
Yeah,
maybe.
16, 17, whatever. Like young.
Yeah.
What's the stark difference in your life?
Oh, having a baby.
That's it.
It's like,
yeah.
Easy. Next question.
Don't you feel like until you have a kid, you don't get it, and then you have a kid, and you're like, life doesn't start till you have a kid?
I like, sometimes I'll hear people be like, you know, difficulty and like challenges that I thought were like challenging before having a kid are all of a sudden to me like the most trivial thing.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
In the world. I'm like, yeah, working for 12 hours, I'm like, not a big deal. Like, none of it is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, after having a baby.
It's like, when should we release this song?
Yeah, it's like,
I don't fucking care.
It's like whenever it's right, you know?
In between
cool.
the kid doing this and doing that, maybe?
Maybe, during nap time.
When you're plugged in, there's certainly like different approaches to parenting. Some people like abandon their kids.
Yeah.
Which is one. There's like two major strategies.
Yeah.
Stay in your.
Okay, wait. Before I continue with this, I forgot I wanted to read this first, okay? We're going to read through this first. So this is a new article that came out. I'm going to pull this closer so I can talk into it. So this is a new article that came out from Numero, Netherlands. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. In conversation with Michael Clifford. Oh, God, I should have got my glasses. It's too late. All right. Michael Clifford is of multi-platinum selling band 5 Seconds of Summer is set to release his solo album Side Quest later this summer. No way, bro. As one of the founding members of 5 Seconds of Summer and the founding member of the name 5 Seconds of Summer, but that's neither here or there. The band has continuously soared to new heights with over 7 billion global streams and multiple award nominations. Embarking on his solo career, SideQuest is deeply personal and introspective, allowing fans to see a more vulnerable side of him. A more vulnerable side of him. How much more vulnerable can we get? Oh no, I can't. I'm gonna cry. I can't handle it, okay? Necklace, rare romance, jacket, Carson watch. Bro, how much is this stuff? Vintage Hanes. Vintage Hanes? What does that even mean? Pants, Carson watch. SideQuest marks the beginning of your solo career. Can you tell us more about the inspiration behind this album? A lot of creating this album was me just trying to uncover my personal identity. I had no idea who I was or who I am. I was just terrified to create anything that represented me, as it was so far out of my comfort zone. That it was that it was a lot of trial and error of seeing what resonates with me. I just wanted to make everybody who supports me proud. Aww. With the album being an introspective and deeply personal, what kind of emotional journey did you go on while creating it? I had a bunch of music that I had created before becoming a parent, but after having a child and looking at that music from a fresh perspective, I pretty much scrapped most of it and started again. I believe that. The biggest journey I went on was trying not to overthink everything. I'm a chronic overanalyzer, but after watching my daughter discover things that I thought were mundane and treat it with such wonder, I really changed my perspective. In creating SideQuest, you describe an interesting tension between happy sounding songs and less favorable subjects. Can you dive deeper into this juxtaposition? What made you want to explore that contrast? I think I was enjoying the juxtaposition. Sorry, I can't talk. I really enjoyed the idea of building whatever building to what feels cliche and then doing the opposite. I continually try to do the opposite of what the song was telling me to do on this album. Interesting. Hat, handmade. Glasses, second layer. Necklace, good arts. Hems. Is that what I'm on right now? No. Ring, personal fears. Sweater, strike oil. Shorts, cout. Day, leopard. Boots, vintage. What is a vintage Hanes? I'm curious. Okay, I'm not gonna read all this stuff. It's kind of good. Left, rings, personal fears. Michael's personal wedding ring. Aw. Shirt, talents, own, jacket, new rock, right, your music is often dealt with useful. Sorry, excuse me. Your music is often dealt with youthful themes, but with side quests, there seems to be a more mature, reflective side. How did becoming a father impact both your personal life and your approach to music? I don't necessarily think I wanted to make a record about being a dad, but I didn't want to make one about being a kid either. I was just sort of left to discover who I was and what I had to say. I wasn't sure what perspective I had to bring to the table, per se. I wasn't sure what separated my look from others. Then I kind of started to get a little more specific with the things I had experienced and really helped me discover what I had to say. As one of the founding members of 5 Seconds of Summer, you've had an immense success with the band. How does it feel to step into the spotlight on your own, and what was the most surprising part of working on your solo album? Terrifying. I always had the ability to hide behind 3 others, so the weight of gravity, decisions, and ideas were less. As I went further into the process, I discovered how reliant on that I became. I wasn't able to finish anything, and I was just paralyzed with the idea of being finished with anything at all that I represented myself. But conquering that, I think it has made me a much creatively stronger individual. I found some respect for myself and ideas through this process, and I think I'll be able to carry that with me back into being in the band. You've always had a strong connection with your fans through 5 Seconds of Summer. How does your solo music differ in terms of how you want to connect with your audience on a personal level? Honestly, I'm not sure that question can even really answer. Oh, I'm not sure that's a question I can even really answer. I just want to connect with anybody who hears this and is interested in what I have to say. But it's kind of up to them what to do with that. It's kind of true. The transition from being a band member to a solo artist often comes with a shift in creative control. What was the most rewarding part of making this record on your own terms? It was just so completely new and different for me that it's almost not really comparable. It's not better or worse. It's just so different. I had a lot of fun with pushing myself with creative ideas that I wouldn't necessarily make within the band. The band is a sacred space that has to be protected, whereas with my project, it doesn't even exist. So there was no risk. I had to embrace that fact and just let it all be free and explore. It was just about pushing the needle as far as it could go until it broke, and then making a new one. I kind of love that. You've achieved so much already with 5 Seconds of Summer. When you look back on your journey, what has been the most rewarding part of your career so far, and how do you hope this new album reflects on the growth you've experienced over a year? There's just so many parts of my career that I couldn't find one moment really. I'm just incredibly proud of the fact that we've been able to continually connect with the people who support us year after year. And I hope that the new chapter is just as connective as ever. What's next for you after SideQuest? Can we expect more solo work, or will we let me start over. Ooh. What's next for SideQuest? Can we expect more solo work, or will we see you returning to 5 Seconds of Summer in the near future. There's a lot coming up. Be ready. That's so cool. Cool, dude. Okay, back to this. Oh, I'll put this in the chat just in case anybody rewatches this or whatever wants to see it. But it was a good article. I can't see my chat. What's happening? Wait, does my sound okay? Hold on. Wasn't sure what perspective I had to bring to the table per se. I wasn't sure what separated my look from others. Then okay, so it doesn't sound bad. Cool.
Your kid's life and try to like,
or abandon.
And try, or like abandon your kid and don't try.
I like to think that I'm trying to stay out of that second lane.
I chose to stay in and try, right? So I have 2 kids, they're teenagers.
Yeah.
It's great, but also they're like, with every stage, you're like in a new stage. But once you have those kids, everything else just feels like less consequential.
Yeah, totally.
That's how
Bro, Joel Madden having children that are teenagers is a lot for my brain. That's all
I feel.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, the things that come with life are like all great. And like, you know, everything that I'm working towards this year and the things that I'm doing are like, you know, big things and things I wanted to do for a long time. And like, you know, come with their challenges and this and that. But like, ultimately at the end of it, I'm good.
Yeah, you're like, wife and kid is good. I'm good.
Yeah.
As long as that's good, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm like, everything else is like, I can just kind of like, you know, even, you know, I hating that I'm doing kind of like a segue thing, but I don't mean for it to be like that. But I named
Segues are good.
I named my album Side Quest, and it's funny because I feel like everything outside of being a parent to me is sort of like a side quest now.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. It's like everything else you kind of just do is like all these other little things, and then you have this like grounding base that just becomes your like, man, what's going on with baby? Like, what's she doing?
Yeah, and also it's like I care deeply about what I'm doing. I care deeply about the side quests. I care deeply about everything I'm doing.
They're not any less like significant or insignificant.
But when you go home, different. You don't feel like it does. I actually feel like it's the first time I could ever switch off.
Yeah.
The thing in my brain that was obsessed with music,
with like doing stuff,
the whole thing, right? Like, because when you're obsessed with your music, you have to be obsessed with your music to make, in my opinion, to make like good music and to go forward and try.
Totally.
You have to take it seriously and be obsessed with it. But sometimes when you go home, if you can't turn it off, it can drive you over the edge, and it can drive you a little mad. And I think that when I had my kids, it was the first time where something became more important, period. Like whether it's in the moment or in the big picture.
Yeah.
And in both ways, like, yes, I need to work. I need to do things that make me feel like I'm doing something with my life. But when I get home, they don't care how the song did or the record did or the tour did.
Does not matter.
They don't care about all.
Yeah.
In like the best way.
Can I watch an episode of Peppa Pig?
Yeah.
It's like, that's the,
Yeah, it's cute.
it's
and
awesome.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I also was thinking about this. I saw something somewhere, I read something, I forget where. Oh, you know where it was? It was in the Robbie Williams movie. Did you see that? So he did this movie, and it's like a biopic, but it's a monkey.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I've
heard of it.
It's kind of wild because the monkey does some wild stuff.
I want to watch it.
But it's really, actually, like really cool.
Is the monkey a good actor, or like?
Yeah.
Is that the vibe? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does the voice of it. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's like they use CGI, so it's like a Gollum type like CGI character.
Monkey?
well, like, you know, I can imagine like he had to wear like a bodysuit and shoot, and then
like Andy Serkis, like.
Right. So, anyways, I thought the movie was a great picture of like what it must feel like to go through. I related to it in some ways.
Yeah.
What it go through like pop success, like in whatever you want to call pop success. We both have experienced it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amazing aspects of it, and then there's a lot of crazy, silly, stupid aspects of it that like And it's weird because you can't really have one without the other. It just feels like nuts. Yeah. But his perspective on it was really like good. Anyways, in the movie, he said, they say you get stuck at the age you get famous. And I thought about that because I never thought about that before. And I was like, that kind of feels a little right. Like there's something that feels a little true to that.
That's interesting.
So I don't know if I was stuck at 22, but I kind of feel like I was for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Because I'd say that was about the age where I experienced fame. And it kind of hit me.
That's an interesting quote.
When I heard it, it hit me. Like something hit me. I was like, whoa, I never thought about that, but I kind of feel like that was true. And then what snapped me out of it was my kids. When I had my kids, it was like I got back to growing.
Yeah. That's really interesting. To me, I feel like when I'm with my daughter, I'm very much like an adult. And I'm like adulting, I'm dad. You know, I'm like figuring all these things out. And then, she's, if not for me, I mean, there's other people who will help keep her alive, but I help too.
But there's a very primal thing there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yo, just watching Michael's interview. I might 1.25 it just so I can get through this in a decent amount of time. Because I have to be somewhere at 6, but that's not too time. Somebody offered to play Fortnite with me, and I was like, blah. So, we're gonna 1.25 it just so I can get through it in a relative amount of time. Because also I can't sit down. Also, I'm gonna go get my candy so I can do this real quick. Let's go.
But then, as soon as I leave that situation, and as soon as I'm like, you know, working or doing anything else, I'm back to being like 16 for me. I'm like, I have this like switch where I'm like, when I'm with her, I'm like, now I have to do this thing and I have to be this adult and, you know, this role model for her. And I need her to know how much I love her. And then as soon as I get out of it, I'm like, I like a switch in my brain flips and I turn into a kid again.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying
That's probably why you look so young.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
But
I'm trying to embrace that part of like, you know, getting to watch someone, especially this, you know, human that you love so much, experience all these things for the first time. That to like, you know, this is like very, you know, obvious as a dad, but like getting to experience all these things that are like so trivial to us that, you know, you just experience every single day. Like, I don't know, like she'd be like, oh my God, a water bottle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, put the water bottle down. And she's like, oh, she just can't believe it, you know? And like seeing her experience these things, I'm like, fuck, man, why am I so jaded? Like that is a cool water bottle. Yeah. That's fucking sick. Like play with that. Just don't swallow the top.
Yeah.
You know?
That is what I was always scared of.
Yeah. Like just no eating anything, but you can like do whatever you want.
It's pretty cool though. Like they can have fun anywhere.
Yeah.
If we let
anything.
But I feel like rock and roll guys, like I do think that we allow our kids to have more fun. I do think that. Like, I think we're like less uptight in a lot of ways. Yeah. Some ways we might not be. But
I'm pretty strict. Schedule.
Schedules are good.
That's like that's my shtick as a parent. I'm like, it's, you know.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's probably control issues. I don't know.
Well, maybe but maybe you didn't have schedules, so maybe you feel like,
I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm like I need her to be like on this certain schedule for her because I know especially how important it is for baby to be on, you know, routine and stuff. So I just,
some structure.
Yeah, and I didn't have a lot of routine, you know, during my kind of late adulthood when we, you know how it is when you get into this thing, you're just like, you never know what's going to happen the next day or whatever. So I feel like I'm trying to counterweight my lack of schedule with like, look how cool it is to have a schedule.
Do you guys want a candy making a camera? Because I think I can make it work. Hold on, let me see if I can make this work, you guys. Give me a second. Give me 10 seconds. I want to see if I can get this to work. Well, I'll just do this. Hold on.
Well,
yeah,
maybe.
I think so. I think I like had if I think about all the trauma I suffered across my life from my childhood to then my career, there's plenty of trauma in there. There's like little things that like you don't realize until after, like that you try to counter as a parent. You're just trying to protect them from like what you think is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the record, how long did it take you to make this record? 10 years?
It's a long time. Yeah. It was like some of the songs are like, some of them are like 5 years old. And then some of them are like, you know, mixed last week, like finished last week. So it kind of like I was making a version of my album sort of before having a kid. And what's so interesting about this album for me is like, I talk a lot about being a dad and stuff in person because it's, you know, clearly like the biggest thing in my life, but it's not actually like, it's not an album about being a dad. You know what I mean?
I didn't
like
get that either.
It's not that for me. So what's interesting is like I made a bunch of music And then sort of like we did our last record, and then like when I sort of like after having, you know, after we had my daughter, and then I like came back to revisit it and sort of like go to finish it, I sort of was like, man, I want to, I like pretty much scrapped it all and like started again. And not because I wanted it to be about being a dad at all. It was just like, I think like having those experiences and seeing her like discover things and like learn things for the first time, it sort of gave me this like inspiration of like, man, like I really wanted to embrace things that felt really, really childlike and really, really just like based on nothing other than just like joy and like just fun. Like the whole thing to me, I just want it to feel like the most fun thing I've ever done. Even though some of the like topics are, you know, heavier at times or whatever, I feel like I still want it to just feel like something that like I listen to, and like everything I make, I want to look at and just smile the whole time. And I think that like when I scrapped everything and started again, I didn't go into it with the intention of like, you know, now I'm a dad, it has to be about that at all. It was just like I just wanted to inject this new thing of like, you know, when you have a kid, you just change so much instantly overnight. It's like whatever you thought you knew is just like completely 180 on its head. So like, I just wanted to feel like I injected in the new me in it, maybe.
Honestly, I feel like...
Okay, does that look good? That might look kind of corny in the corner, but whatever. It's whatever. I gotta... Okay, hold on, let me show you guys. This is like ridiculous. Okay. Hold on, let me like center it a little bit. Maybe that'll help a bit. Is that better? That's not better. Oh. Hold on. Cause I'm not wearing like anything too crazy, so I just wanted to like... Okay. Oh, because, you know why? Because this is fucking not centered. Hold on. Okay. Ignore the fact that my desk sucks. Okay. This might be like the best. Or I could widescreen. No, this is way better over here. We'll just keep this over here. Okay. Is that good? Is that good enough? Hold on, let me move this over a little bit. You guys okay with this? This doesn't look too fucking corny or anything. Ooh. Okay. Let's see here. I'm here. I'm just trying to see how I want to do this. Well, let me just make this a little bit smaller. Where's my name at? Why is my name not? Why can't I find my name thing? Oh, here it is. We'll just do that. How about that? Alright. We can do both. We can have both up here. She can beep and bop while I'm doing Candy. That's cool. Alright. Cool. Okay, so I'll show you my like little setup. It's nothing fucking crazy, okay? I know that's kind of dumb. Actually, I'll put that right there. That's fine. Actually, let's put it by the fucking EDC fund. There you go. You guys can see it poppin'. Okay, so I have this looks ridiculous, but I got my smiley faces, which I fucking love. They're all so cute. I got them for like $2 at Hobby Lobby, and then my letters, all this stuff I got at Walmart. I got these. I use them as like dividers for the words, and then yellow, pink. They're kind of mixed because I've been making bracelets. Purple, green, orange, blue, and then like I said, letters. And then here I have, because I had to separate it because I had the white next to the letters and it was stressing me out. So I got the white beads mixed in with the glow in the dark beads, which are the only ones I have that are like stars and stuff. So yeah, that's what I got. And then scissors. And then string, which of course is rainbow. But this string works better than the other one that I used to use. And then monster, that's almost empty. And then that's all I got for now. So, hopefully you like it. Edit. We're gonna edit this and then do. Cool. We changed the title. Changed the title just a touch. And then, cool. We're gonna press play.
When I heard it, I listened to the, I got a link to it. Cool is out now, today.
Yeah.
So, for the sake of that song. But what I found was, what I hear is, it doesn't sound like you're singing about being a dad. It sounds like someone who knows where they're at. It sounds very, like you're very honest in it. And like, in a very like you way, like it's got some serious, it's got some bite, it's got some fun, it's got some, but like, it feels like someone who's just good with like, they're really where they're at. So I don't hear like, oh, he's a dad. I hear like, oh, he's like, he is somewhere in his life and he's like there. Yeah.
I think I just learned so much about myself through that experience that I wanted to make sure that like, you know, I was able to be self-aware of who I was in the music as well, you know, and I really wanted to try and like not be vague with things sometimes. Like I wanted to try and be specific on like who I am and the like things that I've, you know, happened to me. And like sometimes like it scared the shit out of me being able to like say something like bluntly,
very blunt
in a song. You know?
I enjoy that.
Like, and it was not totally out of the norm for me, you know, having been a part of a band for my entire life. It's sort of like the things that you say and the things that, you know, the lyrics that are represented have to sort of represent you as a group, you know, depending on like who's singing them or whatever, you can kind of diverge or whatever. But like, there was something interesting about this being like, what's something that only I can say? Yeah. Like, you know, I'm cool being like the guy who caught fire. And you know what I mean? Just like something that is like just me. I just found that was like a interesting point for me, that I was like, man, if I'm gonna experiment and try something on my own, like why not try something that like feels like.
It's nice to hear too, because it also is like everything that I love about Five Sauce. You each have moments. There's like moments on records that that are really like great. And then when I hear you, I'm like, oh, it's really nice. It's like, it's nice to hear like the singular person making music. Yeah. And it's good.
I mean, it's scary, dude. It's so scary. I've never sung like, you know, I feel like people still don't really know my like complete voice. Yeah. So like, you know, it's just horrifying that like now it's.
Yeah, there wasn't enough room on those records for you to show the range of things you do.
It's just hard when there's four of us and we each have so many different, you know, like styles and things that like everyone wants to see. And I love that we're at this new kind of avenue where like people can see us now individually for who we are. And then we have this like group thing too, that like you can attach to that as well as the thing, you know, it's just fun.
But I also think that's part of like the band. It's natural. Yeah. This is where a band has to go. Yeah. Like a band has to grow and it has to like become at every age, every stage, every version, it has to feel like it's growth. And that's what I feel like, it's growth. Yeah. It feels like growth. Yeah. And I think that you're going to have a really good experience getting to like express yourself, because that's what I hear on this record. I just hear someone expressing themselves and having the space to do it. Like if we were making a record 10 years ago with the band or 5 years ago with the band, we'd be like, you do that Michael thing right there. Yeah. You do that thing there. And then everybody's doing their thing. And you get to where you really only get to do like 2 moves. Yeah. And that's it. You have 30 seconds.
There's only so much time to do or whatever.
This, like sing these 8 lines. Yeah. And you're like, you want more as an artist. Yeah. And fuck it. Like you should be able to go and make a whole ass record. Yeah. Say whatever you want and put it out.
And like what I love that there's nothing weird about it between us. It's just fun to do. And like, you know, like the irony is I wrote Cool with Callum, you know?
That's cool.
Like that's the craziest part, is the very first thing that I'm going to put out
Callum.
As me is like fucking Callum's a part of it too. I'm like, of course, you know, like of course Callum. It's Callum. So I just think that there's like, you know, that is what's so fun about how we've been growing and sort of like.
That is growth.
Like communicating with each other is like letting ourselves, like letting each other fly. So that kind of sounds lame, but like, you know, letting each other do our thing or whatever. And then like not being weird, or it doesn't change the level of support or whatever that we give each other for it, you know?
I think that's the natural like growth arc. I think it's like, okay, when you're young, first of all, it takes a few years just for everything to fucking sink in and like you to get your head around.
And like the dust to kind of settle and be like, okay.
And then you like, it takes a few more years to get a little bit of like a real life back, where you're like, oh, I'm a real person. I live a real life. And
going to the grocery store for me, like in the beginning, was like the coolest thing ever. I just couldn't believe it. Because like it was like 4 or 5 years of being an adult before I actually like went to a grocery store.
Yeah, you were
to,
literally on a tour bus.
And got to like buy
plane.
something that you could like take home and like maybe cook. It'd be like, it was so cool.
Yeah, I know what that feels like. But like when you're on a tour bus for 10 years and you have literally every day is spoken for. And then when you have a day off, you're just, your mind is numb. You're just like, what do I do? And you're like, maybe I'll just drink. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, what else?
Like, but then on the other side of all that, and you're like, no, I'm a person.
Yeah,
I can do things. And you go back out into the world.
The fucking 5-sauce drunk chats are one of my favorite like moments of time ever. Dude, I gotta see if I can find one real quick because it's actually hilarious. Let's see if this is going. Let's see. Let's see. Cocktail chats. Sorry, oh, my bad. Whatever. Where's the one where fucking... Where's the other one? Hold on, I'm trying to find one where Michael's wearing the hat, because it's so funny, dude. Oh, here it is. Hold on.
Woo! Very nice. Did you wake up in Japan feeling low and feeling lonely? Okay. Okay. Damn. Woo! Someone turned the boat off. What's up? I had a train of thought. Yes. There was a batch of about 8, maybe 10 songs we did with the same producer, Jake Sinclair, which may have resulted in a very different album, maybe along the lines of Why Won't You Love Me, Wake Up in Japan, Why Won't You Love Me, that kind of vibe.
There's something like when I listen to this song, it takes me to this whole like visual place of being in Japan and what that's like.
Japan is one of the only places left in this day and age that is still unique.
Time in Japan always has influenced our band's aesthetic and the way we perform. For instance, if I start talking about Wanna K-Rock like we always do in every interview ever, yeah, we love that country, and I feel like with my creative force.
I'm drunk.
You look amazing. Here comes Callum.
What? You just think that because I said I'm drunk, that means that I'm finished talking? Falling fast, breathing slow.
Time is up, and it's just...
Can you put my thing in?
Yeah, it's done.
Who sucked on this?
No one.
That's a lie.
Whoa! Let's get a shot of that.
It's almost like sucking.
They make me laugh so hard. I don't care what anybody says. They give me so much joy.
It's pretty amazing in some ways, and then you have some other stuff to work out. There's
Also,
little things.
also amazing album, by the way. That album I fucking listened to and knew all the words without listening to the album, and it was great.
And then you all start to realize, like, oh, we love each other. We just need some time and space to like have lives. And then when you come back together, you're like, I fucking love you guys.
100%. Yeah.
Great. But
you went through that too. Like the thing where you like, it's almost the thing where like when you have to hang out with somebody, it's like, fuck.
Well,
you know, and then all of a sudden then you get the choice and you're like, I really want to hang, you know, like I miss you. Like,
yeah. But there is like this thing that I think like no one is supposed to talk about. Right? When you become a slave to the success because you don't want to let go of the opportunity. I'm the same way. And by the way, that is actually the right approach, like to not let up.
Yeah.
But when there's no space for like a human being to like exist in that, otherwise you're ungrateful complainer or whatever you are, it starts to become resentful we turn on each other.
Right.
Because we feel like we're stuck in this like.
Yeah.
And then when we get some space from it, now I'd say like with our band, we had our moments on the roller coaster rides and stuff, but like we're better than we've ever been.
Yeah.
We all love each other. Also, like it's a group decision if we can tour because everyone has kids.
Yeah.
And like, there's no resentment there at all.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what month is good?
Yeah.
Trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
And like, we do figure it out little by little, but being able to step away even for a year and give time to someone you love, and then another person shows up, this little baby
gremlin,
and then you get to spend time on that. It does give you like some really, I think it just gives you some like spiritual perspective that you go back to things with like wiser and I think better.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and like your chops on this record are good. Like when I listen to the record, I'm like, great songwriting, great singing. It's like, you're not worse for it. You're better for this record.
Yeah, and I think it really like, it brings out the best of you because you're like, you know, you want to be the best version of yourself, and no longer are you trying to be the best version of yourself for you anymore, or to like appease other people. It's like there's like a new reason to do it, and like the most valid one that you've ever had in your whole life. Or all of a sudden you're like, man, you know, I'm like, I know, you know.
What am I doing? Well, I forgot to put the smiley face on here, and so I'm having to untie this. But half the battle of having long nails is that it's a battle, and I have to figure out how to fucking do it. But that's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna put. Wait, how did I do this? Pink. Realistically, I should put a pink smiley face. But I can't because that side has the pink on it. What did I take off of here? The pink? So realistically, the pink... But is that going to be too big? Maybe... The problem is I have big wrists. And that's not like because I'm... not thin. It's just my mom has big wrists too, and so it's always been a pain to fucking do anything. I have chunky monkey hands. I get that from my father. Thanks, Dad. Alright, cool. Alright. From the falling fast and leaves, so time is up. The end is just a dream. Woke up in Japan, feeling low, feeling lonely. Alright, this one says lock in, which I can't do apparently, so. And then I did a green smiley face. Boop. Green smiley face. We continue.
Might never even watch this interview, but like I want to crush this just in case, you know, like it's my legacy that I'm leaving behind for her one day. So I'm like, if I say some dumb shit in this interview, then it sucks for her.
Yeah.
So
I think
hopefully
the same
that
way.
wasn't stupid to say, but
no, it's real. I feel the same way. I'm always like,
Yeah.
I want my kids don't listen to this, but they might one day.
Yeah, they might
And I don't
stumble
want
across
to
it on like.
Yeah, I don't want to
whatever.
misrepresent them. Like I always try to like thread the needle of what I can say about my kids without them feeling like I'm misrepresenting anything about them. Because the older they get, the more autonomy they want from you. And like I want them to have that. I want them to be their own people, do whatever the fuck they want, and I just love them and I want to support them. But I'm also proud of them, so I want to like gush about them and
it's a fine balance.
Yeah, it's weird. It's easier when they're little, and then when they get older, it's like
I'm like all I want to do is just like post her everywhere on social media, just like my whole feed. Every time you do it, people are like, "Don't post your kid. Stop posting her." And I'm like, why? Like I want to do it, and then it makes sense. It's like, you know, she might one day be like, why'd you post me so much as a baby? I hate this baby picture that now is escaped that I like can't take off the internet. And I was like, but I think you look so cute, or whatever.
Some shit you just gotta do.
You know, like sometimes I'm just like, you look awesome. It's going up,
and you're always gonna be dad. So some shit about us is always just gonna
she's
be
gonna cringe it.
Like embarrassing.
Yeah,
I'm
like whatever dystopian platform she's using in 15 years. She's gonna be like, you know,
that
3D holograms.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, you can't help that. Are you gonna tour?
Maybe.
You got some. You're working on some stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe.
He's gonna tour.
Well, the truth of the matter is for me.
Would you
it's
come
always,
and see me if I played?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The truth of the matter for me is it's always a maybe.
Yeah.
Because I'll say I'll do some shit and then about
never do it. Or maybe you will.
As soon as it becomes real, and they're like, okay, we got this. I'm like, I don't know. But we're playing more shows this year.
Yeah.
We're playing like 5.
I saw y'all play when we were young, and it was sick.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
I came on stage with you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I fucked up the lines a little bit, but
I saw y'all play, and it was amazing. I watched from the front of house area. I was allowed in, finagled my way in, and
was it good from the front of house?
It was great.
Oh, great.
I was
I'm
awesome.
happy.
It's crazy that like Luke's first show was a Good Charlotte show.
That's crazy.
So, and not that I was there with Luke when he saw you guys for the first time, but even just me in the crowd, I was like, crazy that was like Luke's first show. And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. It makes you feel old, but
I was about to say this. Did I?
No,
Did I screw you on that? I'm
I
sorry.
kind of like being older. I kind of feel like great.
That's
about it.
awesome.
I love my age.
You don't give like old vibes, so I feel like that's cool.
That's good.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's cool to be able to like have stuff
Well,
like that and
I'm
not feel
truly
old.
middle-aged.
Really?
I'm a middle-aged man.
Are you a boomer?
No,
like
I'm
what?
Gen X.
X?
You're not a
What am
boomer.
I?
You're not a boomer.
Nick,
What's
what am I?
X?
You're Gen X.
Gen X.
Yeah, you're
What's
not
Gen
a boomer.
X?
Gen X is like 90s.
Oh, okay.
Grew up in the 90s.
I'm a millennial. Is that what I am?
You're a millennial.
Yeah.
Do I give millennial? Me asking the room.
You're not Gen Z.
I don't think so.
Gen Z is bad.
Is it?
My kids are Gen Z. Are my kids Gen Z?
Yeah, yeah. Dude, you can't mess with them. That's the new army.
Gen Z
Yeah.
will destroy you.
What's my daughter? Born in 2023. What's she be?
Oh, I don't know.
Gen Alpha? Ooh, Alpha.
Alpha. That's nice. That's a good name.
Wow,
They
look-
could. They might save it. They might come in and save everything.
Yeah, they could be coming through.
So I was reading about humanoid robots.
Yeah, okay,
And-
let's really get into the. Let's get into the good
No,
shit.
so your kid is going to be
robot.
in the lifetime of humanoid robots, like real, like people that look like me and you, is like 50 to 100 years, somewhere in there.
Like
so
iRobot
I
kind of
think
vibe?
it'll be 50 years. I think they'll get there faster.
Wow, yeah.
But then they said,
then we'll get to see it.
then they said like somewhere in that 50 to 100 year
went to the
period,
land bed.
there's going to be like major movements for rights for AI,
Robots?
autonomous, and robots and stuff, like for them to have rights.
Okay. Well, I'm all for rights, but
For robots,
well, I mean, we haven't invented them yet, so like,
Well,
should we maybe lay the?
the Tesla robot will be available, I think, next year. That's from what I read. And I'm going to buy one
Yeah.
for sure.
What are you gonna have it do?
I like the dishes, get stuff for me,
Yeah.
ride in the car with me.
It's like, yeah.
But think about it, like,
Just imagining you in the car
Well,
riding,
think about
and
it,
being
like,
like,
if
"That was your day," and they're like, 3, 2, 1, 7.
you're like, if your robot's in the car, it's safer, I think.
Is
Like,
it? You think?
I do. I think, like, you could be like, get out and go get the, like, drop this package off, or
What are you doing?
I don't know,
You're,
like,
doing
running
Uber
errands.
package. Yeah.
Running errands. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it'll be great, and I could have it do like
Do like an Uber package side
like,
gig. That sounds
well,
cool.
like chores around the house, folding clothes.
Just don't see it doing a very good job.
I do
like,
actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it'll be AI
To be
learning.
fair, it can't be worse than me folding clothes.
I think it'll get better.
No, yeah. Like it'll learn and then all of a sudden it'll have rights
Or
and
just
it'll
like
own
if
the
it
house
was
down
with
the
me.
street.
If it was with me, think about this. If it went like shopping with me, like at the mall,
That's embarrassing.
All right.
But yes.
all right, and then I'm just like hold these, and it would just hold my bags while I'd walk around.
But there's always gonna be that thing where you feel bad for being like
The
do
guy with the
this.
robot?
Yeah, well you'll be like hold this, and then they'll be like holding it. Someone will be like, what an asshole move! Like you're having your robot hold. You know?
Yeah,
I would think that.
so
And
that-
even though it's a robot.
Yeah, so that's where you're getting into the robot considerations, the rights and stuff.
Am I pro robot?
You're actually like you strike. You're like very left. with
Really?
this.
I'm on the left side
your,
of
your
this?
position on robots is like too
Are
left.
you a right wing robotist?
I would say my politics generally skew left in general,
And then
but
what
then
about
there's
robots?
with robots, I would say I'm probably like a far right. I'm very conservative.
Yeah.
I want them
Wow.
here now.
Yeah.
And I want,
you have
like,
to do exactly what you say.
I'll have like 4 of them in my house. You'll pull up and there will be like
Like a greeting service.
there'll be one in the freaking yard doing yard work. There'll be one washing my car and one like playing with my dog.
I hope they flash back to this interview in like this interview will be in like
I'm
black
so-
and white in like 100 years when it's just robots in
Yeah.
the world and it's like an example of someone who
And
like
guess who they're gonna let live?
no, you're on the wrong side.
No, you guys are gonna get duped.
You think?
They're gonna get all the rights and then kill you all, and
Hell
then
yeah.
they're gonna remember the people who started them, who got them started. Actually, I don't think they would be that compassionate. I think they'll just kill us all.
True.
And so then why are you
I don't
rooting
think they
for
have
them?
any feelings
Yeah.
at all.
Oh, you gotta program them with some
But-
feelings maybe.
I'm looking forward to that day.
Yeah. No, me too now. I'm really excited.
All that
now.
to say is that our
Yeah.
kids are going to be the
Yeah.
generations to experience like those amazing inventions and stuff.
And suddenly I don't feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah, yeah. So if we zoom back in on our own lives and our own careers, it's so insignificant
Yeah, totally.
in the greater picture of like what the world's going to look like
what everything is.
in
yeah.
like 50 to 100 years. But the legacy of your music will be
listened to by robots.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll hear that.
We'll be vibing out.
Yeah.
They're like, remember that album, Side Quest? They'll be like, no.
I don't know though. It's important. Like I think the legacy that you have in music is really it really is something that you have to like kind of dream up and imagine like what does that look like?
Yeah.
If the last 15 years or longer,
Something like that.
since you've been in making music,
Yeah.
were the backstory to
Yeah.
the next 15,
Yeah.
You have a great backstory.
That's true. I didn't think of it like backstories.
I think that
yeah,
that
I
way.
like that. I like that.
'cause-
That's very much getting into my like Dungeons and Dragons psyche.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and I think we're taught in music and like in the music business, like we're only as good as our last fucking like hit, and it's kind of like not true.
Yeah.
And really not true. But then we hit these spots where we have to live life a little bit so we can make art again. And then we start making art again, and then like things change. Like I just think it's like what you're doing is really important. And like a lot of people are just too scared to do it.
It feels nice to hear.
It's nice to see all you guys from Five Sauce doing different stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're spreading your wings a little bit and you're just like living your lives. And I guarantee you, the moments you come back together are going to be better every time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I feel too. Is like, we always use this like really cringy analogy of like, we all go and make like their solo superhero movies. And then we like come back for like the big Avengers blockbuster. And like, it's kind of a lame way of thinking of it, but I think there's no other analogy I found that's better. So if anyone else has any,
What's lame about that?
I don't know.
I love
like
Avengers.
It's a little bit like, meh. but yeah, for sure. Like I when we come back together, it's like, that's how we started. That's what people want from us, like
not all bands have 4 stars.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's why we've had such a complicated career. Not that I'm saying that,
I said it. You didn't say it.
Okay.
I said it. You don't
I feel weird being like, yeah,
I'm
totally.
a star.
Like
I'm a big
100%.
star.
Yeah,
but it's true. Like you guys have,
we're all individual artists, and we all
Yes.
have a say, and we're not just like, no one in the band is just
The
like,
lead or whatever.
along for the ride. Like none of us are really that kind of attitude. We all have like fucking like art that we're like bleeding for, and things that we want to like, have out there in the world. So
Right.
it just makes it a.
This one just says EDC LV because I am not, my creativity is running out. EDC LV, and then I added a cute little smiley face. I did white so it goes in between the color pattern. Creativity. I need more letters because I'm running out.
An interesting dynamic that I really like. I can't think of that many other bands really that have done something like that. And I'm not trying to say like we're like the most unique band ever, but like we have a very strange and interesting dynamic that I think that's why people have liked us from the beginning, and I think that's why staying together is like such an amazing feat of ours, because like there's the amount of bands who are like us are so small, and then if you say the ones that have stayed together, it like gets even smaller.
The group is small.
Yeah, so it's just it's cool to be a part of like a legacy that for us is like not dead. You know what I mean? That's what I love about it, is like it's not something that's like a thing that we had. It's like a thing that we still have. Like even I don't think if you asked anyone 10 years ago when we started if we'd still be here 10 years later, like doing stuff together and still with the amount of like love and passion that we had in the beginning. And I think that's kind of just what is still so awesome about it.
What do you think it is that's kept you guys together as friends and as a band?
I think that knowing each other before the band even like existed and being friends outside of that is like the biggest thing for us, like, and I think we all have the same attitude of like, we don't want to let anybody else fade. We make sure to like cultivate everybody's like lifestyle and like uniqueness. And I think that
there's room for everyone.
Yeah, we like intentionally provide the room for each other to sort of like flourish.
And to get through like the darker or more uncomfortable or harder moments actually takes real people who like have some stuff. I don't know. There's something about people not quitting on each other or running away from each other because it's uncomfortable or it's hard or they don't know how to say how they really feel. Or, like we all go through that.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it, if we stay in it long enough, we actually do figure out how to like say how we feel.
Yeah. And I think like going through the things that we've been through together and being able to come out on the other side and like have conquered it together and like, it makes us stronger as a group, because we're like, man, if we did that, this shit's easy, figuring out a miscommunication or, whatever. Not that those are common with us, but like that all of a sudden everything else is easy.
Yeah. Well, you're all very Australian in some ways where I'm like, well, you're also just kind of easy guys.
Yeah.
Like you are.
Well, I don't know if I'm that easy.
You probably feel like you're not, but that's again, like I think you downplay in a very like nice Australian, like humble way, the importance of your band, but also like, I know how that feels. But when I look at it, and I feel like I've had a really good seat for the whole like movie.
From day one, yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have survived. When I first met you guys, I was like, fucking talented, cool kids.
Yeah.
Like nice guys. But you were young. So the first thing you think is like, oh man, are they going to survive this fucking thing? Like, And like you just know it as someone who's been around and been through some shit. You're like, some people make it, some people don't.
Dude, and that's what's so crazy is when you get to that point where like now I look at people and I'm like, all the best. Like I hope you get through this. You know what I mean? And like it's crazy to have come out on the other side where like now I'm someone who can be like,
you can see that.
Like maybe we'll do it, maybe won't, or whatever.
Yeah, I was probably around your age or a little older when I first met you guys. That's what you think. You're like, God damn, talented, nice guys, good music, good songs. It's coming up. And then I got to work with you guys and I was like, great. Like you guys had the stuff. Yeah. Like to survive. Like you really did. Yeah. But also you didn't know what was coming. Yeah. And you kind of go like, man, but there's nothing anyone can do. You just have to go right through it. And like, there's a ton of good. I'm not saying it's all bad. Yeah. I'm saying like to survive in this career for a long time, it takes like this grit that's hard to explain.
Totally. Yeah. It's like a perseverance.
It sounds like I'm being negative. I'm not. It just takes, it's this weird grit you got to have.
Yeah, totally. No, I know what you're saying. It's like the,
not a life for everyone.
For me, it's like it's the eyeballs. And it's like the good eyeballs are why I do it.
And the bad
the bad eyeballs are what makes me want to run away and cry like a little girl.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But then you get on the other side of it, and the fact that you're here sitting in front of me with a family, a life, you made a record, you're like, that's a functioning human being that wasn't completely like just beat to hell by their own success and their own failures and everything in between. It's a spectrum. People only see the successes. They don't see all the failures of the things we wanted to happen or we worked so hard on. It's a big bag of like of stuff. And I'm not even saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it's like
just a
weird thing to go through, and the only people that understand have gone through it. And then on the other side, some people are like, peace, I'm out. In like good ways where they're like, I'm moving to a farm. Some people are in bad ways, like I'm out. And then to see people who like can sustain a great career and then start, and then it feels like where you guys are is you're at the beginning of another era of the band and individuals. Because I'm seeing like the music, you're all doing different stuff. And it's like nice to see artists be artists.
Yeah. I think that's what's so scary for me is like, I feel like I have worked for, 10 years on like this one, like this is like my bad analogy, but like one game. I spent like 10 years on one game. And then like now after doing that for so long, it's like I clicked new game level 1. Like when it comes to like me as like trying to like put myself out there as an artist. And that to me has been like the scariest part because like, we've been doing this for so long, but like we're all still like young.
Yeah.
We're like the youngest old band ever.
Yeah.
Like it's quite daunting sometimes where I'm like, man, I don't even know if I can like consider this like a new thing anymore because I've been doing this for so long, but I want like, obviously to me, this feels so new because it's like, I've never done it before. So I think that's like been the like mountain for me to climb, and especially like when it came to like signing off on music, like I'm such a overcritical thinker and like overanalyzer on like every little thing that like when it came to some of this stuff, and I was like trying to make especially when I was like trying to make music on my own for myself, I'd be like scrolling through like snare drums and I'd be like does that represent me? And then I'm like does that represent me? And I'm like, dude, it was just this like cycle where like every little thing I was like, what represents me? What sounds are me? And
analysis paralysis.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to like,
I get it too.
I had to like find people to collaborate with and like help me like, collaborating is all I've done my whole life. So I think when I kind of went into it being like, this is me, I want to like, do it just me. And I was like I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I was like, this is too hard. And kind of like a strength of mine, I like to think is like bringing the best out of other people. And I think in some of this process was like bringing the best out of someone else so that they could bring the best out in me. And it was kind of like this.
You're also
little,
fun to work with. I had fun working with you.
Okay, I like that.
I felt like we always laughed a lot.
I hope so. Yeah, I feel like if you're not, then it sucks. Yeah.
Like we always had fun.
I hate like trying to do stuff where you're like,
I think that you're really, so I think hearing that and makes sense to me, and I'm similar too. I think you're really hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. In every aspect. Like there's not a part of my life that I'm not hard on myself on.
Yeah, I bet.
But when it came to like releasing something of my own, it was just like, like trying to sign off on the first song. Like Cool was the first song that I was meant to sign off on. And I was like, man, the irony of the lyric behind, am I cool enough? And I was like, I remember sending notes back and forth and I was like, man, is that part cool? And then like literally like pun unintended, I was like, dude, I'm a product of my own like design, you know what I mean? Like
that's what the song's about.
So that was like the like fourth wall that I had to like break through on that song was like find the place in you that like feels good about something and then just like fucking do it.
Yeah, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
That's a really that's kind of a breakthrough.
Yeah.
I think. I think that we share some I think some qualities. And I've kind of always known this about you in the like best way, because it's what it takes to do great things is like this ambition and this like need to almost like get it perfect, which we'll never do, but it's good to strive for that. But I think you're probably really hard on yourself and maybe even borderline mean to yourself sometimes, which I am.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm almost a couple decades ahead of you in this thing.
What, a couple decades?
I'd say
Come
like,
on.
like 16 years older or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
not
that.
a couple.
That's
That's
like more than you know, on the better side of almost 2 decades, right? I'd say it's enough time to go like, what have I picked up along the way when I see somebody that's similar to me? We're both artists. We're both singers. We're both write songs. We both have families. We're similar, I think, in our aspirations. We want to do like cool shit. We want to make good shit and like build a legacy we're proud of, not at any cost. I want to know my kids and I want to be married like as long as I can be, you know, like I want to, in my mind, like I want to have a life that I feel like I've invested in the right things.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I don't want to be like a tortured artist.
No,
you know,
I
I want to experience the good in life.
Yeah, and like and appreciate our fans and appreciate what I have and all the things, but like really hard on myself. I'm mean to myself sometimes if I don't look out for it. And then I got to catch myself every time and go like, one, get out of your own way. This is good. You liked it the first time. Yeah. Like stop thinking, move on. And two, if anybody else was talking to you the way you're talking to yourself right now, you would tell them to leave. Yeah, you know?
Maybe not. I feel like I hate confrontation. So.
Right, you would tell them to leave. If they were talking to your kid like that, you tell them to leave.
Oh,
yeah. So that's all I'm saying is like we have to look out for our little injuries because they make us do weird shit.
Yeah.
And like if we don't become more and more conscious of our own shit, you know, we injure ourselves. At some point, we just start injuring ourselves.
Yeah, I've noticed sometimes like the more I tell myself one thing, like you know, negative things, the more I just see it like start to manifest in real life. It just kind of happens in my, I don't know, like for whatever reason, I'll just keep, you know, if I'm like just super hard on myself about one thing, it slowly ends up being a thing.
Yeah, we find evidence and proof of our beliefs.
Yeah.
So if I go into the world believing anything, I'm gonna find proof.
Yeah.
If I go into the world thinking like people don't like me, and I'll find proof. Like plenty of people.
I'll be like, wait, that guy,
There's a lot of takers on both. If I go in the world and go, I make friends everywhere I go. Yeah. I do kind of make friends everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Those are my extremes. Yeah. I'm either making friends everywhere I go or I'm like, nobody likes me. Which is terrible, but it's true. It's funny because like I think a lot of us musicians are like this. I think we're like injured from something. Yeah. You know, we were little or wherever. Yeah. That's real. At some point we got to work on it and like figure it out and like, and then we kind of we injure ourselves a little bit when, you know, something too good happens for us. You know, we get this success or we meet this nice person who loves us. We start fucking with it because we're like, that's too good for me.
The good things don't happen to me.
Shitty old me. And you're like, no, actually, like, let's track back across the life. Things have been going pretty good now for a long time. Yeah. But that's kind of like the tortured artist because we generally, I think, started doing this out of pain. Most of us all come from some kind of pain. Yeah. And then it's hard to shake that sometimes. But the kids are really good for that. They're like a shock to the system. Oh, yeah. It's like a reset.
It's like the coldest ice bath that you can get in. And it just is like, baths? No, I can't. Oh, wow. Yeah, they hurt.
Are you in LA?
I moved to Atlanta, but we're moving back in like a month because we moved to the middle of the country and
got a little bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you come back to LA?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. I was like, I thought you were maybe in Nashville or Atlanta.
Yeah. We were going to go, every time we thought about moving to Nashville, a tornado hit. Ooh. So I think that there's a high power telling me like
LA.
Maybe stay away from the yeah.
Do you miss Australia?
I miss my parents, but I miss parents and like what I knew as a kid, but now I'm just so here now. Yeah.
You got a family.
Yeah, that's how wherever she is, like wherever my daughter is, I'm like that's where I'm.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know, and every time I think about going back to Maryland, I'm always like, we go back in the summer sometimes. It's great, but like
home just became way less physical for me.
It's not physical. Yeah. At all. Yeah, I don't even care where we live as long as they're happy.
Yeah, exactly. It just became like a more of like a feeling than a place.
And how do you feel with the record? Do you feel relieved?
No.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
Okay. What are you the most nervous about?
All of it.
All of it. Like you couldn't even tell me.
Like the list would be too long. Yeah, right. No.
It's a general anxiety.
I don't want to because like I don't want to like deter people from listening to it because of my anxiety about it. But like, I mean, it's scary. Like, I hope I made something cool.
Oh, you did make something cool.
Okay. I like it. I made a song called Cool.
I like it though. I think it's great.
Yeah, thanks.
I think you should be really proud of it.
Yeah, and I am for sure.
Yeah,
I'm proud of like myself for like doing stuff and not letting myself get stuck.
Yeah,
in my own way. Like I'm really proud of myself for that.
What would your like idea of success for this record be? What would you be happy with?
I think it's just
Bro, okay, so I did, cause I found a hashtag, okay, #, whatever you want to call it, and it says #blessed, and the other side has a smiley face, okay. And I'm making them a little bit smaller because everybody does. Well, this one fits me like to the T, but a lot of people have smaller wrists than me, so I'm making a few that are smaller. I gotta find something to put them on. I'm bummed I didn't buy this thing on iHeart Raves. I might at some point. Maybe when I get there if they have it, but it's like $3 and it's this lanyard that it goes across that like you can put your phone in or whatever. But I haven't bought it because I forgot to buy it when I went to buy the last thing I bought. It's like $3 on the website, but the shipping is like $7, so I'm not paying $10 for a fucking lanyard. So, yeah, I gotta find something to fucking hang all this shit on.
just I think it's internal for me. I think it's like if I can look at the thing I made and like look at the way that I represented it and went about making this and be proud of it. I think that's sort of what I'm looking for at this point.
I like really consider, and I make it a point to say this, and maybe I've said this to you before, and maybe I haven't, but I've definitely said it to, maybe I said it to Ashton, because he was here like probably a year and a half ago on this show. And I maybe have said it to Luke before, but I consider...
Not to Callum. You haven't said it to Callum.
I didn't say it to Callum because he wouldn't talk to me.
Okay,
because he wouldn't say a word.
He's too...
He's still angry at me. I can't find him. But I said the experience we got to have over the years working with you guys was a very like rich part of our legacy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We consider it to be something that like we cherish.
Yeah.
Like it's a proud moment.
Yeah.
In our like legacy.
That's amazing.
And so like to be connected to your band, the story of Good Charlotte is all these things, and like 5 Seconds of Summer is a part of it.
We kind of come into that story at some
it's
point.
like, for us, it's a proud moment for us. Like we're very proud of it. We're very proud of you guys.
That's awesome.
We're very like proud to know you guys. We're very proud to be like connected to you guys musically, and like we're always watching you guys, like rooting for you and going like, what are they doing next? You know? So if it's a solo project or what, you know, a family.
Yeah. Dude, I think there's like a few moments there's like two of the biggest moments of our life would have been She's Kind of Hot and Amnesia. You know, those are up there of moments that were like very pivotal for us that like, you know, wouldn't have happened without you guys. So I think
but
like
vice versa, like you guys shared your success with us. You know what I mean? And you didn't have to do that.
I don't know if we did as much as it was you for us. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's mutual. Yeah. I think it actually
maybe it's a little bit lopsided. Well, you gave us more.
I think it was like a mutual. Like we both wanted to be there. Yeah. We didn't want to like work with you guys and just shit out a song.
Right. Yeah.
Like we wanted to make something that felt special.
We were. Yeah. There was a relationship. We were like.
And I felt like in the process over the years of working with you guys, like when we were all in the room, we all cared.
Yeah.
Like we were trying really hard.
I always felt that about you guys.
To like make something.
I always felt that it was never just like popping in, trying this and then dipping out. It always felt like you were invested in us and you wanted to see us succeed and have these like moments.
It was important to us because you guys invited us into a special space that like some people don't take it as like it's sacred to us. Like a band is sacred.
Yeah.
Like you have like backstage, we have our shit and we work it out, but like it's sacred ground. Yeah. Nobody else can come in here and like work. Like if we're working some shit out or Billy's mad at me or he's this or he feels like this, like we're back here and this is sacred. And we always work it out and we go on stage and we all play our roles. We play our positions. And backstage, we come back and we're like a family. We're working shit out. And sometimes families are shit is uncomfortable and dysfunctional, and sometimes it's amazing. Yeah. And all my best memories and worst are with the band. They're my family.
For
like,
sure.
It's the only familial thing I have in my life, like really, like deeply rooted familial thing is these guys.
Yeah.
We started in high school and like, and now it's crazy. So we're all in our 40s and we all have kids and we see each other.
Start out as like a bunch of degenerates and then suddenly those are the guys that you have the best memories with in your whole life.
Yeah, and the worst. Like there were whole eras of like of dysfunction. There was times where we didn't speak. There was times where we didn't know how to express like how we were feeling. We stayed together and we got through it. And on the other side of it, like we love each other. Because that's what family is, like, totally. You know. So, and we did the Madden Brothers record, and we did like we do, you know, me and Benj were all over the place. So, like, we have all of these moments. So to come into another band and be in the like the bubble with you guys, we always took it really seriously. Yeah, and like, and we've always
for sure
we've always like believed in you guys as a band. You're a great band. Yeah, you know. Thanks. So you're never gonna not be creating something. Yeah, and whether it's with each other or separate, you've got to like know that you have to do it. Yeah. Like you had to make this record. You would not have been happy if you didn't make this record.
For sure. Yeah. And I think that's like what is like we were talking earlier about like growth is like when you learn that and you realize that like allowing that freedom creates something better for for everybody,
Yeah.
then that's when you know you want to, you know, I want to watch everyone succeed. I want to watch everyone do, you know, whatever they want to do at all times. Like I've supported the shit out of, you know, Ash and Luke's stuff. Like I loved it and was always along for it. Like, and I, you know, I was like a fan, and I'd like go and like watch, you know, stuff of it and like the live performances and stuff, you know, because I just think that's how I want to support, you know, and it's it's just like rooting for your best friend. And, you know, it does confuse me a bit that there are some bands that like don't want to see that for their bands, bandmates and stuff. You
that's
know,
all just dysfunction.
Yeah.
It's all just like, it's like fear and dysfunction, and like all of us have insecurities about something.
Yeah.
And like with bands, sometimes we act it out on each other.
Yeah.
In moments.
Yeah.
And like when we get past it and we get to healthy places where like, actually we all started together and this was a really good thing. Like we were excited and like we loved being together, especially like in those early days where we were getting our first show or the first tour where someone was like, we're taking you on tour, whatever, like excitement. And I think like we also then have to all grow up together and become like men and figure life out while we're doing this.
That part's wild.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But I do think that like what I know about you guys is you're good people.
Yeah.
And I know you love each other. And I know that like you want each other to be happy. And so anything that's ever gotten in the way of that has always probably just been like this temporary dysfunction.
Yeah. Yeah. It
And
feels
it's the
like
same
that.
with us.
Yeah.
Like anything that ever got in the way was a temporary, like dysfunctional piece we had to figure out.
Yeah.
However long it took us was more like us all trying. And like, that's the greatest story about the band is like that we did try and we got
overcome.
Yeah.
Like when you overcome it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a real success because I think you're going to make a lot of music. I think you're going to do another record and you're going to fuck around and like, you're never going to stop like wanting to make music and express yourself.
Yeah.
And you may even go back to a 5 Sus record and be able to do that a little different from this experience, but you may go over here because you were friends with that guy and you were in that studio.
Yeah.
And
Just
you
think
fuck
the way
around.
that things. Yeah. Yeah. I think that is the beauty of like exploring as an individual and then being able to like create as this, you know, part of a group.
My only advice would be to be open to the like winding road of it because
It's definitely not a straight line.
Yeah, this record might actually be about the next one, or this might be about that. You never know like where the journey's taking you and what moments the world will recognize or not. But like hang in for the artist development part of it, where you're like just doing what you think is cool, doing what you like, expressing yourself. And like, you're gonna have moments on this record that feel like wins, and you're gonna have things that feel like losses.
Yeah.
That's just the journey.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm gonna try and embrace all of it.
Yeah.
You know, and like really have that as something that I don't necessarily, you know, get to experience within the band in terms of like developing. You know, it's like it's different in the band because we kind of like create a thing together, and you like, you know, it's like you birth this thing together, and then you equally, you know, some albums it's different people, and you know, it ebbs and flows, but like I really want to try and embrace this, like this is something that I created, and like some parts of it are very imperfect, some things are great, some things maybe suck a little, and I want to try and like be here for all of it, and stop trying to like shy away from some of that, or let it kind of, you know, defeat me or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's just like putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Just continuing to.
Yeah.
Because you're a really talented musician.
Thanks,
and you're a good songwriter. And so I just think it's exciting to me to see people make shit and just make shit. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and just put it out there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are scared to. I just think it makes you more a complete artist every time you do it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, every time you release anything, or not even just release, every time you create something, you learn like over and over again, you know? And I think that's like the crazy part about what we do in terms of like being a creative for a living, is like, there's no linear, like you don't get better because it's all subjective.
Yeah.
So you just are constantly like trying to learn and like understand, you know, for me, I had to, you know, understand that like to make better stuff, it was never technical. And to me, I felt for a long time that like to create something good, it had to like technically be good, and it had to come from a place of like, you know, all the right, you know, sounds and the right, you know, words, and like, you know, I was just so hypercritical on all of these things until I had this realization of like, man, this is all subjective, and the only thing that like the reason why you listen to music, well, for me anyway, is like I want to hear the person, like who's making the thing, and like in what way does it represent them? And I think that none of that, actually, this is a bit of a full circle moment, is because the thing that I like about my favorite artists is like the humanness. And that's something that C-3PO, your robot who's going to greet me, is never going to have. I mean, maybe they might program him pretty good, but I don't think his music is going to be very good. And
the music is not going to be
good. In 100 years, they flash back to this moment in black and white, and he's, multi-platinum, diamond-selling artist. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, just finding the like humanness and the imperfection, I think was something that like, it really, really helped me embrace the like disarrayed, human that I am, and like try to find the creativity in that.
What gives you freedom?
Yeah, I think I was just like, man, I was like, making this album better isn't going to be having a better synth sound. That's whatever. That's not what people want. It's just like, how does it make them feel? What does that tell them about me?
Making this record, I think, is a important part of your artistic journey, and like what you do in the future. This is critical. Yeah. I'm happy you made it. Yeah. I'm happy you came and talked about it.
Thanks, man. This was really fun.
Congrats on the baby.
Thanks.
You're going to be a teenager before you know it.
Yeah. Congrats on the robot.
Not yet, but soon. So you'll be the first.
There's no down payment.
You'll be the first picture. I'll send you the picture as soon as I get that thing. Michael, thanks, dude.
Thanks, man.
Love you.
Thanks for having me. Love you too.
Thank you for listening to Artist Friendly. We really appreciate it. If you like the show, you can also follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram at Artist.
That's so cute. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Well, I'm making candy. So let's, God, you guys are not going to care about this, but, cause I don't have anything for you. So I might just full screen candy. Let's see. Can I just duplicate this thing? What does Fortnite Gamer do? Nothing. Okay. Duplicate this. KNDI. Okay. Wait, where did I put it? Oh, at the bottom. My bad. Candy. Dude, this sucks. There we go. Alright. So we'll do this. We'll move this bad boy. We'll put this bad boy over here. What was I going to do with that? Oh, I remember now. Hold on. Give me a second, you guys. Sorry, my lighting in here is so bad, and I can't figure out how to fucking change it. So, we're just doing this. We're doing this. That's cool. You can kind of see. Let me put this back here a little bit, though. Jesus. There we go. That's cute. Do I have like a do I have a music thing here? No? I thought I do. Oh, I do. Where's it at? Where's my music thing at here? Will it show you what I'm playing when I'm listening to just like a podcast? That's my question. Where's my playlist? No, I don't want playlists. I want podcast, because I'm a little bit behind what I was listening to. So we're gonna vibe and listen to a podcast. You guys ready? You guys ready? You guys ready? Alright. Nope. Attachment Theory Part 1.
Possibly the fear of abandonment and erratic behavior of people in her life, and then
nope, you guys can't see it
in her as well. This pattern often stems from disorganized attachment, where individuals yearn for connection, but really fear closeness due to those early experiences. However, Wuornos may have also exhibited traits of insecure, ambivalent attachment, particularly in her intense need for love and validation that was paired with that fear of rejection. However, the severity in her early trauma and the abusive nature of her caregivers more strongly suggests disorganized attachment style. Disorganized attachment likely played a role in Wuornos' psychological instability and violent actions. I think we can say that. Her difficulty trusting others, coupled with a deep fear of being hurt or abandoned, could have contributed to her extreme reactions to the threats that she perceived in dangerous situations, and then resulted in her taking the lives of these men.
Richard Ramirez was known as the Night Stalker and convicted of 13 murders and numerous other assault and property crimes committed in California during 1984 and 1985. While there's not a great deal of information on his developmental periods during his infancy and toddler years, it is pretty clear that his descent into criminality was profoundly shaped by a radically unstable and abusive upbringing. He was born in El Paso, Texas. He was the youngest of 5 children to Mexican immigrants. His father, a former Juarez police officer, was prone to violent outbursts, frequently subjecting his children to physical abuse. It is known and confirmed that Ramirez suffered multiple head injuries at a young age, one of which resulted in a diagnosis of temporal lobe epilepsy. Now, by the age of 10, he was exposed to the use of drugs and began his own path of experimentation, much too young to understand the ramifications, marking the start of a lifelong struggle with substance abuse. Ramirez gravitated to a pivotal influence during his formative years that at first appeared to be a stable influence, and that was his cousin, Miguel Mike Ramirez. And Mike was a decorated Vietnam War veteran. Mike fascinated the young Richard Ramirez with inappropriate and floridly gruesome tales of torture and violence that Mike claimed to have inflicted upon Vietnamese women, often accompanied by photographic evidence of those atrocities. It's believed that this exposure to violence and sexually oriented material at such a young age, in tandem with chronic drug use and likely with temporal lobe epilepsy, had a major impact on desensitizing Ramirez towards cruelty. Again, all while under the influence and care of what he believed to be the one stable relationship that he had. And when Richard was 13 years old, he witnessed Mike fatally shoot his wife during a domestic dispute. This event clearly had a lasting impact on the child's development, further cementing a fascination with violence. Following the incident, Richard's behavior grew increasingly erratic. He withdrew from his family, delved deeper into substance use, and developed an interest in the occult and allegedly into Satanism, leading to sort of a perspective on an attachment style as disorganized based on the expression of violence.
So Ted Bundy was a man who confessed to 30 homicides across several states during the 1970s. In the abundant material available about Bundy's upbringing, he too was reported to have experienced a confusing and unstable early family environment, including being raised by his grandparents under the pretense that they were his parents and his mother was his sister. The context of the time is necessary, as this type of familial deceit was not, well, terribly uncommon, but definitely not discussed and generally shrouded in a lot of shame. His behaviors grew more erratic through his toddler years, with his aunt sharing years later an incident where she woke up to find 3-year-old Ted standing by the bed, smiling at her, and the multiple knives that he had surrounded her with. Bundy later indicated that he had harbored resentment towards his mother and grandparents for concealing the truth. As a teenager, Bundy had significant challenges in social interactions, describing himself as unable to understand interpersonal relationships, although the media has portrayed him as this charming and seductive man. And I think that's really interesting, like being unable to understand interpersonal relationships. Like, it's such a clinical, stark way of describing it, but I think says a lot.
Really does.
Yeah.
Or as much as it says, I think it opens the door to so many other questions that are diagnostic in nature. And again, we just have to...
Okay, so I need ducky beads. I want to get duckies to pass out specifically. Now I gotta get some fucking blue. God damn it. If I can fucking find some, dude. What'd I do? 2 common colors. What the fuck is up with that? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Should 3 be enough? Hopefully, dude.
He's through all the media bullshit about it, right?
Exactly. But yeah, you take a quote like that, and again, like, not to compare ourselves, but someone like you and I would be like, man, I just don't feel what other people feel when they're like in love. And he's just like, yes, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
What is this thing you people are doing? So Bundy's behaviors from childhood, characterized by a combination of things like fear, confusion, and contradictory behaviors in relationships. Again, we're going to posit that points to a disorganized attachment style for this man.
Henry Lee Lucas was a convicted serial killer who claimed to have murdered hundreds of victims, though only a handful were confirmed. And there remains to this day a great deal of controversy about the really poor investigative work done by law enforcement across the country, because so many law enforcement agencies were eager to pin their unsolved crimes on him. And he willingly went along with it because he was getting reinforced with cigarettes and chocolate malts and, you know, the treats that he got from the local restaurants. Born in 1936 in then rural Blacksburg, Virginia, Lucas is reported to have experienced a childhood that was challenged by abuse, neglect, and trauma. He was raised by his abusive mother, Viola Lucas, and his largely incapacitated father, Anderson Lucas. He endured relentless physical and emotional harm at the hands of his mother. Viola frequently subjected him to brutal beatings, including one incident where he struck him with a wooden plank, causing a traumatic brain injury that resulted in a 3-day coma. Viola is reported to also have forced Henry to witness her engaging in sex work, while his father, a double amputee and full-blown chronic alcoholic, was unable to provide any kind of protection or emotional support. Neglect was pervasive. For instance, Lucas lost an eye due to an untreated
gonna watch
injury.
this straight up, so I'm gonna end stream, you guys. Peace out. Have fun. It was nice seeing you guys.